Greetings viewers, welcome to another Evil Strategy session. I am Evil. I'm looking at a 3v3 on Green Acres, currently my favorite 3v3 map, probably because we keep getting it. We have Evil, Hunting, and Krevlornswath going up against Wang, Omelette, and Coned Penguin. And kind of a typical strategy I see here is, looks like we're going to get a little bit of cannon action up here, and thankfully our team has completely blocked off the front, so no worries. This guy just sits here inconsolate, nothing to do. Bummer. Pylon, cute. Sent over his spare probe, cute. Zerglings, go ahead and wipe it out. So, goal in this one, we're sitting there thinking, what can we do against two Zerg? They're going to have map control. They're either going to have map control with speedlings, or they're going to have mutas just raping the backs of our bases at 7.5. And thinking on this one was, hey, if they're two Zerg and a Protoss, they can't seal off their front door. If they can't seal off our front door, we should be able to get in there if we get in there soon enough and pound them to dust. So that was our thinking on this map. So we went pretty heavy troops straight up, just some troops. Krevlornswath, I believe, was going to go ahead and tech, and sure enough, he's got his factory down. Hunting had heavy zealots at the beginning, and Evil me went with lings, and I'm starting my my speedling update. So my goal originally was to go ahead and scout, make sure they did not have any excess, didn't have any fast expands. I believe I split my forces up to accomplish it, and there I see their expansion.
Our forces are under attack.
That's an interesting placement for a cannon. It's really good. Unfortunately, I can get back here. If he didn't have these lings, I would have succeeded. But that's alright. It's alright, we got stuff coming. So, let's see. Purple Wang sends out his lings to go ahead and take a look around. I think he's waiting for a force just to see what comes through. And my speedlings come in, get a decent surround, clean that up, and off we come through. Oh, speedlings have to wait for everything else. So, knowing that he's got at least a cannon over here on this side, yeah, you got an expansion, that's awesome, but again, if our main goal is to get in here and pound something to dust, I'm not going to dick around with an expansion. Let's get in here and kill this off. Lings versus roaches, I probably should have pulled the lings out, but, you know, it's not a bad idea. So, Omelette, I'm going to look here. At 7 minutes, Omelette has a gateway and a forge. Okay, so you were leaning pretty heavily on the idea of this cannon rush. It wasn't necessarily all bunk. You could have had this overlord here sit back, thrown down some cannons, and at least been ready to warp in troops. But 7 minutes and you don't even have a cyber core. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he spent a lot of time and effort on this expansion, and you know, his Zerg buddies are supposed to have troops to fight everything off, and it turns out not. Queen goes down. His economy's in shreds. Worse than economy in shreds. Let's move on to next. What do we got going on here? Some roaches. Yeah, those speedlings will pull back until we get better. On creep. Let's see. Coned Penguin could have been kiting us this whole time, but doesn't turn out too bad in the end for him. Krevlornswath comes down here and pops down his tanks. These tanks are amazingly unsupported right now, and are amazingly unseen with all these overlords right here. It was very tight. I sneak in some troops to see what kind of damage I can do. None. Pretty stupid attack. Watching this over here, Hunting shouts out, hey, get those tanks out of there until we get some support. And I mean, this is just... nobody can see anybody. We don't know they're there. They don't know we're here. It was just, it's tight. So this is what I really want to focus on, is the shielding of the siege tanks. This turned this battle. I usually do most of the troop control, and in this case, Krevlornswath said, hey, I'll control the tanks. And this worked out so brilliantly, having just the separate control. I had all the land forces and he had the artillery, basically. I really enjoyed this. This worked out great. So in terms of art of war, strategy of war, etc., this is what Napoleon would call owning the central position. We have two armies, and these are controlled separately. We have Omelet's armies of stalkers, and we have Pone Penguin's army of roaches. And we are going to set ourselves such that we can take on one army, defeat it, and turn on the other army, which is pretty impressive when you consider that tanks don't move very well. Lawrence sets up the tanks, pounds them into dust. Here comes one army. We fight that off and chase it off. Here comes the next army trying to get in. That's chased off. Lawrence bounces his siege tanks up. So there's one army there. There's another army here. They're separate. They can't support each other realistically. Here comes army number one after a feint from the other army. Completely unsupported by their buddy, leaving me time to run over here and shield Lawrence's tanks. He loses a tank. And then we can turn our focus right back over here. Shuts down that cannon, and that's it. This expansion is now ours for the plundering. Just for entertainment purposes. 1 kill, 2 kills, 11 kills, 5 kills, 7 kills, and backup coming in. Awesome. We're able to just come in here and rape this. Meanwhile, Wang has finally got his base back up. Bringing in some mutas. Got forces coming in. March right on up, and in terms of troopage, I don't see any. Void Raids, Stalkers, Zealots, okay. Got it. Tanks clean that up. Got some Void Rays coming in behind, but Hunting has some Stalkers. I believe I swing my mutas over here any second. There we go. So we managed to shield the siege tanks, again allowing them to do just ludicrous amounts of damage. Poor Wang is about to have his base shut down again. In terms of army, not much here. In terms of loss, that tells the story all the way through. It's just heinous. Mutas on this side, siege tanks on this side. Omelet leaves, Wang's not far behind. Pone Penguin's gonna eventually get out of here. There it goes. So, I'm not sure if I'll say the key to this game was punching in early, but 2 Zerg, they can't seal off, finding what is normally a strength of having the Zerg and their early pushes, and being able to turn that against them. I understand their strategy. They were going to put down early pressure, look like a cannon rush, work their way in over here on fronting, and then followed up by, I guess Wang had Lings right about in this area that he was going to send on in and do some damage. By us pushing out earlier, we defeated it. Now Hunting did ask for a pylon check, and I chose instead to do checks for expansion, so Hunting definitely has a great point. Had I checked this, they wouldn't have been able to put cannons later. They didn't anyway, but still. That's it. So the lesson for this one especially was about shielding the siege tanks and being able to have that multiple positioning here and just protect the sieges was the absolute key, I think, towards winning this battle. So thank you for watching this evil strategy session. I hope you guys learned something, and until we meet on the field of battle, stay evil.